Hi again, everybody. Remember, we just worked on this continuous strand loom and made a fun little scarf. And I didn't tell you how to do the fringe. I do have other videos where you can learn fringe, but I thought I might as well continue the project and make something out of this. We're going to have an interesting little project to do today. So stay tuned and I'll be right back. Okay, so when you're doing fringe, you want to know how long do you kind of want these to be. Remember, you have to have a piece that is folded in half because you're going to knot it at this end on your scarf. So with my handy dandy ruler here, I think I kind of like them about this long. And you know, it's pretty forgiving. It's not going to stay exact, but it'll be good for now. So this happens to be 6.5 both ways. So what I'll do is take the yarn and wrap it around and then cut off one side of it, and I'll have the double length that I need. We're going to start with figuring out how many do we need. Now let me zoom in. All right. We already have one on this corner, and we will probably have another one here because I want to go around the edge with a single crochet edging on this also. So I'll have another tail that'll go along with this white one. That's the beginning knot that we had. So in looking at this, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 whites there. We need one more white here. That's 5. Okay, where are we? Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need 10 white. And then in red, some of these are already used. We have 2 in here, and then we have 2 here. So we'll need 4 red and 10 white. All right. Okay, we'll start with our red. Remember, this is what we were using. And I'm just going to hold it at this end and wrap. So we've got, here, let me back up again. There we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Try not to pull too tight because they'll be short. And then we're going to cut off this end. So here we go with the scissors. We're going to cut off that. You can always trim it later. Okay, so now I should have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 double length ones. See how much they shrink a little bit, huh? And then we're going to put those on here, and that'll be about the length I want. And later we can trim it to length. So there's 4 red. Okay, we found the end of our white, and we're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to hold it up here. Okay, and we need to have 10. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh. Don't do that. 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure your yarn's ready to go before you do this. Okay, there should be 10. All right, so count on this end because this isn't the end that we're going to cut. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're going to trim here, and then we're going to trim these guys. All right, so there's 10 for that. All right, so we're going to put this yarn away, and we're going to start putting on our fringe. Okay, let's start with our red ones. Use any kind of hook you want, whatever seems to fit. This one happens to be a G. Go up through the hole, This is the last loop you had. I'll bring it in a little more. Okay. And fold your yarn over in half and grab the loop. Pull it through. Okay. And now you're going to pull the strands through that loop. It's really fairly simple. Try to make it all even. Make the ends even. And then just snug it up. And there's one. Okay. And we'll go to the next one. And we'll fold our yarn over. There. Okay. Put it on the hook. Grab it. Pull it through. If you want, you can try to grab it this way and pull those through. Sometimes I drop it. Yeah, I kept it. Pretty close. All right. Pull those ends through. Okay, so there's those, and then I have these two down here. Oops, sorry. Two more. Get it kind of even. Find the center, pull it through, and I just use my fingers, it's easier. There. One more. Fold your yarn, grab it, pull it through. Okay, so there's the beginning. And now we'll do the whites. Okay, yay, we got them all on there. Now I'm going to put a cutting board underneath here, and we're going to comb these out and then measure how long we want them. Again, so it's kind of hard to get it all nice and straight, but do the best you can. And you'll probably see that if I put this down, it's probably not going to be, see, they even shrunk up that much. So that's okay. We're just going to kind of line this edge up and see what ones are the shortest ones. It seems like around in here, so I'm going to just sort of comb this out like this. I'm going to stop right about here and just make sure that I'm lined up on this pad so that it's even all the way across. And I'll get out my cutter, which you have to be very careful of, and make sure you close it. And there we be. Whoop, some of them didn't get trimmed, so we're going to get the scissors out. You can do this obviously with scissors, but if you have a large scarf, it's much easier with the cutter like that. Okay, that'll be just fine for right now. It's just fine. All right, so my next step, now that I have this, is I'm gonna back up a little bit more, is that I want to crochet an edge all the way around this, just a single crochet edge, something simple. But I think what I'll do is do it in red. I'll show you the difference. Oh, here's the red. I think what it'll do is sort of block off these diamonds or squares or however you look at it, and have that red edge on here. It'd be really nice. If I have the white edge on here, I think it would kind of lose something. So I'm going to go with the red, and we will get a hook and get started in a second. Okay, I decided to use this hook. It's an L 8mm. Any size hook that works for you is fine. L is probably one of the bigger ones. When I crochet an edge on this, this little marker is telling me that this was the right side up when I made this. They're absolutely the same on both sides, but that's just my way of kind of keeping everything this direction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start down here. It seems weird, but I'm going to turn it around, because when you crochet across this way. And I want to keep this being my right side. So I'll start with making I'm going to leave a tail on here long enough to trim it later, because it's going to become part of the fringe. And I just make myself a little slip knot and then put my hook in it, slide it up. Okay, here, let me move in a little. There we go. And I'm going to come in from the back side of this. You can go either way, but I just go in from the back side. Need to find my yarn here. Hold on. Okay, bring the yarn over there. And came in the hole. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull through that hole, and then pull through that loop that I had made. All right. And I'm going to tighten it up by pulling on the end of that. Okay. There we go. Then I'm going to do single crochet all the way down. So I need to go in the next hole. These are all the pin loops that were on the top of the weaving. Pull up, grab it, pull it through both. Simple as that. I'm going to stick it in the next one. Oops, make sure you get it in there. All right, and pull up, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, and I will go to the next one, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. Next one. Okay, and then I'll go down a little bit and show you what it looks like. Okay, there's that. I'm not pulling hard on this at all. I'm just letting it be large. It's going to be kind of a bulky edge, but that's okay, because this is just going to go around my neck, keep me warm. It's not like it's got to have a special gauge or anything. All right. So you can kind of pull on it a little bit, but see, it's just an edge, just a simple edge. All right, so I'm going to back out again, and I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm going to go all the way down. When I get to this corner, I'll do 3 of them, okay, right here. And I'll pull this string in as I go and go over that through all of these. Do this corner here. I'm going to do 3 right here, and then turn and come, and then come all the way back, all the way back down here. I'm going to tie it off and have some fringe, and then we'll trim this tail off later. Okay. So I'm just gonna put it on fast forward so you don't get bored. And here we go. Maybe I'll back up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we're almost back at this corner. Got one more right here. And we'll go in the last one here. Okay. And then I will trim off this edge. My scissors. I want to pull this piece so about out here. A little trim. And I want to grab the fringe and my red one at the same time and pull them both through that hole. Like that. And then pull it down really tight. Okay. So now, because I used a thicker hook, it did make it a little bit bulky. So I have a little bit of a ripple going on here, which is just fine with me because it's, here, let me back up a little more. You see the little ripple happening here? And then you probably saw me snag that one up here somewhere. I think it got taken care of. But I can just go like this to the scarf. And kind of settles everybody back down. Okay. But see, doesn't that red look, it looks better than I think white would have looked on there. It kind of frames it. All right, so we have our fringe down here, and when we want to make them all even, remember, so we're gonna trim all, let's go like that. All right, in there somewhere. Yeah, it's really funny how you, no matter how many times you do it, they come out uneven. They can be real close, but then they do something. They'll shrink or curl up along the ends or do something funny. But anyway, okay. So I'm glad you made it through that with me. Next, we're going to decide what we're going to do with this piece. So I'll be right back. Okay. I forgot to show you this piece. Remember I was crocheting over it? I am going to take my hook and I'm going to weave this white one back in backwards down through the centers of these, just to make sure that it's locked in. I make sure on both sides I'm not going too far over. So I'm going to grab it and pull it back through itself, through these last there. Okay, that way once it's gone back and forth a couple times, you know it won't unravel. It shouldn't unravel, but so I'll pull this out just a little bit. Put your finger there so you don't cut the wrong thing. Whoop. There, and then I'm going to pull on it a little bit and let it disappear in there. There, all gone. Okay, so what I was talking about is what can I do with this? I have fringe on one end. I have this end. What should I do with this? Now, if you want to, you can make a headband, but you have fringe on it, so it would be a funky headband, but it's doable. So you'd sew these ends together and you'd have this real funky headband with some fringe on it. I think that'd be kind of cool. But in my case, I keep hitting the camera, I'm sorry. There we go. In my case, what I want to do is a neck cowl. It's not really a cowl. Maybe it's like a neck muffler. I'm not really sure what to call it. If you know what it is, put it down in the comments below and tell me what you think it's called. I'm going to take this end and go over this one. You see what I'm doing? It looks tight, but it really isn't that bad. And if I go over this one and put a button here, then this can roll over a little bit, and then this will roll a little bit if you want it to, and that'll go around your neck and keep your neck warm. And the tassel just for fun, or the fringe is just for fun. Or if it's cold out, you pull the back up around your neck, and it's just to kind of have around your neck in your jacket, and it keeps the cold out of your neck, but you don't have a full-on scarf. And I think it really does come in handy sometimes. It's a little cooler. It's not as sweaty. You know, sometimes you get these really heavy scarves and it's just a little much. This is kind of nice to have something like this, just to have it in your arsenal of keep my neck warms things. So your options could be a big vintage button or something a little smaller. And let me move in a little bit more. The reason I decided to go with this little bit smaller button, which would be sewn here, is you need to pull this apart for your button to go through. Okay, this will all come back together again. You could sew it permanently here if you want to. But if I used the bigger button, I think you have to come up from underneath like you're doing. I think it's just a little much to be stretching over my weaving. You can definitely do that. And if you want a permanent button, you just take the button and sew it all the way through. And it'll always be there and it'll be ready to go. But I think what I'm going to do is just sew it to here. And then when I need it, I'll put it on around my neck and I can button it there and let this drape over like a little collar. I mean, like a little, well, it's like a little collar. And that just gives it a little extra fun. If you want, you could do button, maybe 2 buttons, maybe 3 buttons. Makes it look cute. Let me back up again. Now another way to do it is to just come down like this around your neck and just have 1 button right here. And so the button would be on this side. Instead of over here, you put the button here, come down and have a button here. You'll have a little fringe on one side, but not the fringe on the other. And it really, if you want to, add fringe to this side. Or don't do the fringe at all. I think the fringe is kind of fun peeking out there. So I'm going to do this on mine. Try it on around your neck first, because it may not work around your neck on this size scarf. Any size scarf you have, you know, you just have to try it on and see if it's going to work. This I've already tried on around my neck. It's a little snug, but it's nice because it keeps that wind out. And right now it's really windy outside. Okay, so that's a piece of that little end that wants to keep peeking through, and I'm going to trim it off again. It'll go away eventually. There we go. All right, so if you have a thin enough hook, a really skinny little hook, you can sew this on with a piece of thread or yarn from your project. I didn't have one on me right now. I did make a regular needle, and what I did is, I don't know if you can even see that, but I doubled the thread. It's a upholstery thread. It's a heavy duty thread. So I make a knot in it. And sometimes it's tricky to get these things to stay. So what I'm going to do is just do it whatever way works for you. I'm going to kind of go around a piece here and then thread it back through itself because I put a knot on the end there. All right, so like that, just to make sure it's on there good. And then I'll come up through the middle of one of those yarns and get my button on there. And then come back down through another one of those yarns. And then go back up and find that hole that wasn't used yet. That one. It would look prettier with your, say, a red yarn or the white yarn. So if you have, like I said, if you have a really skinny crochet hook, you could do that. Okay, now I can go back through it again. Let me do this one more time just to make sure. And then come up. See, I didn't do that one yet. That one. And that one. Make sure you secure it off really well. So just kind of weave your needle through enough of those little pieces and kind of go through itself a couple times. I'm going to try to tie down that little end. Okay. And I'll do that one more time because I never really know if I did it enough. You can always clip it off later if it's in the wrong spot or you don't really like what you did, or you come up with a prettier button or something. And then for now, I'm just going to trim this off. You can weave in your little ends if you want to. I'm not going to be seeing them there on the underside. Now I can take off my little marker. Okay, so whoop. All right, so there we be. We have a fun little neck warmer, and I'm gonna try to find a good spot for this button to go through, like right about there. I'm just gonna real gently pull it through, and there it is. It's on there nice. This will go around your neck. This can flip back if you want. You can always roll this part over too. You can keep the back up and just roll these edges or roll them over. There. I kind of like the neck up, and then this little piece like this. If I had another button, you can always do a button like up here, or you just kind of play with it. You might want to put another button like right here, not really on the edge, but in, and then it would set in a certain spot better. But I like it. I hope you like it too. I'm glad you were here with me, and I hope you got some ideas on things that you can make. I appreciate you watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you like me. I'll try to come up with some more ideas. I'd like some comments that you can give me some ideas of what you'd like to see. Or tell me what you want to call this guy, because I have no real name for it. So maybe you can come up with a fancy new name for it, other than a neck warmer. Anyway, we'll do one more close up and look at your pretty project. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Have a good day.